ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Now let us continue the underground stem modifications. In underground stem modifications, so far we discussed underground stem modifications we are discussing. In this underground stem modification, so far what we discussed, the first one we discussed is rhizome, and second one we discussed is corm, and the third one we discussed is stem tuber. Right, we completed this for last classes, right? Rhizome, corm and stem tuber. What is the fourth one to complete in underground stem modifications is bulb. What is this? It's nothing but what? A bulb. So if you take this bulb is nothing but it contains a discoid stem with, so we find adventitious roots. A discoid stem you find with adventitious roots. So in case of bulb, very characteristic feature is it contains a discoid stem. So what is discoid stem? This is discoid stem. This is what is called disc-like structure, discoid stem with adventitious roots. Okay, so if you look at in this case here bulb also contain apical bud, or we call terminal bud. Apical bud or itself is called terminal bud, and it also contain axillary bud or lateral bud. Okay, apical bud and axillary bud. Now this apical bud, axillary bud lead to formation of what are called scale leaves. In this case also, scale leaves becomes fleshy and stores food material. Okay, don't worry, I will show in the diagram. Now this bulb is further divided into two types. The bulb is further divided into two types. What are they? What is that? First one, it's called tunicated bulb, and the second one is called as imbricated bulb. You will come to know what is that each point, you will come to know. In the diagram I will let you know. What is the first one? It's called tunicated bulb. What is the second one? Is called imbricated bulb. Now what is a tunicated bulb? Let me take example for tunicated bulb. Examples are very important. Allium cepa. Allium cepa is a scientific name for onion, and other one is Scilla indica. Now in this case, if you look at very clearly, so it will be like this. So here in this case you find discoid stem like this. Okay, what we said the first point, it contains discoid stem. This is discoid stem. Okay, this is what is called a discoid stem. I write again here. Let us discuss point wise. Discoid stem with adventitious root. So you can see here adventitious roots. So what you can see in this case here, adventitious roots. Yes or no? Simply you take onion into your hand. What I am drawing here is onion. Take onion into your hand, observe the onion carefully. Onion scientific name is Allium cepa. If you look at the onion, you find a discoid stem at the base, and it contains what are called adventitious root. Now if you look at the onion is covered by a thin leathery paper, what is called as tunica. So why it is called tunicated bulb? Because it's covered by tunica. This outermost layer, what you find, it's called as what? Tunica. As in this case, bulb is covered by a layer called tunica. That's why the bulb is called tunicated bulb. I hope you got it. The bulb in this case, in onion you will remove the outer layer, no? Uppermost thin papery pink color layer, what you remove itself is called tunica. As it's covered by tunica, that's why the bulb is called tunicated bulb. Let us go inside the onion. Now if you look at inside the onion, here in this case you can see the green colored or white colored ones here. Have you observed any time the green colored or white colored one? That itself is called apical bud. And the down lateral buds, so here the lateral buds or axillary buds, they give rise to a concentric whorl of rings. So these are called lateral buds or adventitious bud or called axillary bud. Okay, if you cut the onion vertically, you can see in the center white color or pink color or somewhat light greenish, light yellowish one, that is called apical bud. And surrounded by laterally from each axillary bud, you can see formation of scale leaf. These all are called axillary bud or lateral bud. Then what happens from the axillary bud or lateral bud? Now you can see all are nothing but what you find this here, they are nothing but scale leaves. So apical bud is present, axillary bud or lateral bud is present. What you can see here, it's nothing but scale leaves. So here in this case, these all are scale leaves. What are they? Concentric whorl of a fleshy scale leaves. How they are arranged? In a concentric whorl. Why do we write concentric whorl? If you cut the onion horizontal, how it looks? It looks like this. Yes or no? So this is what is called concentric whorl of fleshy scale leaves. This stores food materials. You know the upper one, what the green colored ones we find, they are also called as what? Scale leaves. So this is nothing but onion, Allium cepa. Coming to imbricated bulb, here tunica is present, that's why it's called tunicated bulb. Coming to imbricate bulb, in this case tunica is absent. So here I am writing tunica is absent. As tunica is absent, that's why this is also called as naked bulb. What's the meaning of naked bulb here? Not covered by tunica. In case of imbricated bulb, outermost layer tunica is absent. That's why it's called as what? Naked bulb. Means tunica is totally absent. Now, in this case you can take example. The example is nothing but lilium. You can take example lilium, Lilium candida. Now you can take, this is Allium cepa and this is lilium, that is imbricated bulb. But if you go to the kitchen, along with Allium cepa, most commonly used thing which we use in cooking is garlic. Okay, that is garlic. Garlic will not fall in tunicated bulb nor it will not fall in imbricated bulb. It is in between. It's not completely having characteristics of tunicated bulb, nor garlic does not have complete characteristics of imbricate bulb. Garlic, Allium sativum we call. Garlic will have characteristics of both imbricated bulb and tunicated bulb. In between who is present? So I wrote common arrow mark for both. In between who, which is present? Allium sativum. Who is present? Allium sativum. Means Allium sativum have the characteristics of both tunicated bulb and imbricated bulb. Now let us see about Allium sativum. Generally if you take the garlic into your hand, you can see like this. So it will be like this. Same, discoid stem is there. Adventitious roots are there. All characteristics are same. Discoid stem and adventitious roots. Right, and it's also been covered by the layer called as tunica. It's covered by the layer called as tunica. Same discoid stem is there. What else? You find adventitious roots. But if you look at in case of Allium sativum, what I have drawn here? This what I have drawn? Allium sativum. What I have drawn is Allium sativum. Very important. It's commonly called as what? Garlic. Velluli. Right? It's commonly called as garlic. But if you observe carefully within the garlic, you can see that the scale leaves becomes fleshy and they will be like this. Now, each fleshy scale leaves is called clove. Okay, what is this clove? What is the clove meaning here? Each fleshy scale leaf. Each fleshy scale leaf will develop the structure like this. Okay, each fleshy scale leaf is called clove. Right. Now, each clove is also surrounded by covered by layer called tunica. Right. As it's covered by tunica, it will also fall in category called tunicated bulb. And here it has some characteristics of imbricated bulb. So, it belongs to both tunicated bulb and imbricate bulb. It is in between tunicated and imbricate bulb, that is nothing but what? Allium sativum. So, in Allium sativum also discoid stem, adventitious roots are there, cloves are here, velluli, right? Cloves are there. Each clove stores food material and each clove is covered by tunica. Rest of the characteristics are same. Right. Now, we will discuss again. I will repeat again. Let us have a look again. In underground stem modifications, the next one is bulb. So, the common characteristics if you take in case of bulb, it contains discoid stem with adventitious roots. As usual, it contains apical bud or terminal bud. It shows axillary bud or lateral bud, and that leads to formation of scale leaves. Scale leaves becomes fleshy and stores food materials. Right. And bulb is divided into two types, tunicated bulb and imbricate bulb. Tunicated bulb example Allium cepa, it is a common name for onion. It is a scientific name for onion, and Scilla indica. Now, if you take onion, you know, same as I told you, it contains discoid stem here and adventitious roots are here, and if you cut vertically, if you can see, there is a light pale yellow or pink or green color one called apical bud, and down from where scale leaves are produced, they are called axillary or lateral buds, and you can see a concentric whorl of fleshy scale leaves which stores food materials. So, here this is, if you cut the onion horizontally, this is what is called concentric whorl of leaves. Right. Now, similarly, imbricate bulb, it is not covered by tunica. In this case, tunica is absent, but in tunicated bulb, tunica is present. As tunica is absent, that is why it is called naked bulb. Example is lilium. Now, not completely tunicated, not completely imbricate, having both characteristics you find in case of Allium sativum. Allium sativum commonly called as what? Garlic. In this you find discoid stem, same adventitious roots, but each fleshy scale leaf is called clove. Each clove again surrounded by tunica, and the same structure that is called Allium sativum commonly called garlic. Remember, all underground stem modifications are involved in, helps in vegetative propagation. Involved in vegetative propagation. What is the important statement? All underground stem modifications are involved in vegetative propagation. This is the fourth category under underground stem modification. Stem is underground, it penetrates into the soil and it stores food. It is of four types: rhizome, corm, tuber and bulb. Right? Now, previously if you look at the block diagram, under stem modifications we made into 3 categories. What are the 3 categories? First one we discussed, underground stem modifications. Second one, let us take subaerial stem modifications. What's the meaning of subaerial? What's the meaning of subaerial? Subaerial meaning here, it is partly aerial and partly soil, and partly aerial and partly in soil or water. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so what is that? Sorry, let's continue. A subaerial stem modification meaning what? Half part of the stem is partly aerial, means partly it is aerial, and half part of the stem is either maybe in the soil or maybe in the water. That's why it's called subaerial stem modifications. So, subaerial, it's further divided into again 4 categories. They are nothing but first category called as runners, second one is referred as stolons, and third category it's called suckers, and the fourth category it's called offset. Okay, that is also divided into 4 categories. What are they? Runners, stolons, suckers, offset. Let us talk about very first one, runners. Yes. So, what are these runners? Most commonly if you observe in case of plants, for example, this is a flower which I got it. In some cases, if you keep one flower into the soil, one flower and one plant if you keep it into the soil, that grows horizontally and touches the ground and lead to formation of another plant, and that leads to formation of another plant. So, here, so you can see keeping one plant, it runs on the surface of the ground, it grows on the surface of the ground and lead to formation of another plant. So, here what we can say, aerial development of plants by vegetative propagation. What's the meaning of vegetative propagation? One plant is giving rise to the development of another new plant. This is called vegetative propagation. Aerial development of the plant gives rise to a new plant. Again, aerial development of this plant gives rise to another plant. So, they run on the soil. One plant gives rise to so many plants. So, they are called as what? Runners. So, for runners, let us take example. You can take examples for runners. So, you can take cynodon. Cynodon, it's commonly called as dube grass. Okay, what are the examples? Most commonly, we take cynodon. Cynodon, it's commonly called as what? Dube grass. Right. Now, apart from the cynodon, you can take example oxalis, and also you can take one more example, Fragaria. Fragaria, it's commonly called strawberry. Scientific name Fragaria means commonly called strawberry. Oxalis, hydrodactyl, or you can write hydrocotyle. So, these are nothing but the plants generally which are called runners. I hope you know it very well. If you can commonly observe in your surrounding environment, they creeps on the soil and they gives rise to new plants. So, aerial development of the plants by vegetative propagation, they run and spread to all directions. One plant gives rise to another plant. It's called vegetative propagation and they are called runners. What are the examples? Cynodon commonly called Dubcras, Fragaria it's commonly called strawberry, then Oxalis hydrocotyle. These all are nothing but examples for the first category, they are called runners. Right, now let us take together stolons and suckers. Let us differentiate, let us study together stolons and suckers. Now runners you all understood, you followed up to here. So what is the second category we will talk? Stolons. Let us study together a combination of both stolons and suckers. Okay, let us write here suckers. We are studying at a time, comparison we are making it is easy for you to remember. Stolons and suckers. What are the stolons? What are the suckers? Let us have clear make out of this. Now in case of this stolons and suckers, let us write with example. This you find in case of Nerium, Jasmine as well as Rosa indica. Where do you find the stolons? You find in case of Nerium, Jasmine and Rosa indica. Coming to suckers, you find in case of, I am writing examples here, Chrysanthemum as well as Musa including pineapple. Okay, let us differentiate both. Stolons example Nerium, Ganneru in Telugu we call, Jasmine plant you know it very well, Rosa indica. In all three what you find, the type of underground or subaerial stem is, the type of subaerial stem is stolon. Similarly if you say commonly Chrysanthemum, you know chamanti we say in Telugu, chamanti flower, Musa banana, ananas pineapple. In these cases the type of subaerial stem is sucker. Now let us make clear difference between stolons and suckers. Right. Now in this case here, so this is nothing but the stem. So this is nothing but the leaves and here is the root part is there. This is the root part and this is the stem part. Okay. So this is the stem part. Now listen carefully. Aerial branch what grows here? What is this? This is nothing but aerial branch of the stem. Which part is growing here? Aerial means above to the soil. Aerial branch of the stem arches downward direction. Arches down. Arches down means it bends down and wherever it touches the soil, it forms adventitious roots. It forms what are called adventitious roots. I repeat again. Aerial branch of the stem arches down and wherever it touches the soil, wherever it come in contact with the soil, it touches the soil and lead to formation of adventitious roots. The moment it forms adventitious roots here, again grows upward direction and gives rise to a new plant. So if you cut in the adventitious root, if you keep it in the soil, you can see formation of another plant. That means adventitious roots helps in vegetative propagation. Helps in vegetative propagation. Helps in vegetative propagation. I repeat again, simple, very simple, very easy. Such kind of method most commonly it's called, such kind of method it's called layering. Layering most commonly we use in horticulture. What is horticulture? The method of growing flowers, cultivation of flowers, rearing of flowers is called horticulture. In horticulture, most commonly we use called layering. Layering means we cut the stem, where it touches the soil, we cut the stem, keep it in the soil, a new plant comes, that is vegetative propagation. So, you make the plant to grow, it gives one more layer that you cut, gives one other plant. So, it is called layering. This kind of method of layering most commonly employed in horticulture. So, let us see again stolons. I repeat again, stolons where do you find? Nerium, jasmine, rosa. What you observe in these plants? Aerial branch of the stem arches downward direction wherever it come in contact with the soil. There it forms what is called adventitious roots. Adventitious roots helps in vegetative propagation. Okay, so these are called stolons. Now let us make clear difference with the suckers. Now what you can see in this case of suckers, now you can see I am drawing again the plant. The plant is like this. Okay, so this is underground stem. So this is underground stem. What you can see is, I will write other side so that you can see clearly. So what you can see here is, this is underground stem. This is underground stem, and underground stem grows down and forms what is called root system. This is root, this is root. Now what you can see here, underground stem, this is nothing but soil. This is nothing but soil, right. So if you look at carefully in this case, here the stem is, some part of the stem is aerial, and within the soil still you can see some part of the stem got penetrated. Up to here this is called stem part only. This is called underground stem. That means here stem is partly aerial, partly underground. Stem in this case is partly aerial, half is upper side and little extent of ground, partly soil. It is present in the soil. So this is underground stem. Within the soil also you can see underground stem. Now what happens in this case? Now in this underground stem you can see a lateral branch of the underground stem. So what you can write is, a lateral branch of underground stem grows horizontally, and touches the soil, comes in contact with the soil and forms what are called as adventitious roots, Now these adventitious roots obliquely grow in upward direction. So here it grows obliquely grow in upward direction. Obliquely grow in upward direction. Okay. I will repeat again, carefully you listen. Some part of the stem is aerial, this is upper aerial stem, and some part of the stem is underground. So this is underground stem. Till here it is stem only, underground stem. From here you can see development of root. So from the underground stem there is a lateral branch. Laterally it grows. So this is a lateral branch, grows horizontally. It is growing horizontally, parallel to the soil, grows horizontally. It grows horizontally and obliquely grow in upward direction. So here as it grows obliquely grow in upward direction. Now what happens if you cut the plant here, if you put it in the soil, again it helps in vegetative propagation. It helps in vegetative propagation. If you cut it from here, if you cut it and if you keep it in the soil, then again new plant will come. So that is most commonly observed in case of chrysanthemum. Generally if you keep one chrysanthemum, chamanti mukka, right, chrysanthemum, chamanti mukka, one if you keep it, you will get so many. Similarly, musa, banana. See that banana, one banana plant you keep it, so many bananas will come. Okay, one banana if you keep it in the soil, surrounding banana plant you will get so many. Pilikalu antam, in Telugu we call pilikalu, right? The small young plantlets will come. One banana plant if you keep, a few years you can see so many banana plants will come. It's all because of lateral branch will grow and develop into a new plant. So that is the type of stem called, subaerial stem called sucker. You find even in case of pineapple. Okay. So once again let us make clear difference between stolons and suckers. See the difference. Stolons you find in case of Nerium, Jasmine, Rosa. Suckers you find in case of Chrysanthemum, Musa, Pineapple. What is Musa? Musa is nothing but banana. Right. Now see the difference. In this case stolons, aerial branch will arches down. Wherever it touches the soil, it forms adventitious roots and that helps in vegetative propagation. So what you understood here, this is aerial branch of the stem. What do you call this? This is stolon. Coming to in case of sucker, this is lateral branch of underground stem. This is lateral branch of underground stem. In this case, aerial branch of aerial stem. Aerial branch of aerial stem. But this is lateral branch of underground stem. In the soil, it grows laterally and it grows obliquely grow in upward direction. When come in contact with the soil, it forms what are called adventitious roots, helps in vegetative propagation. Both the cases helps in vegetative propagation. If you cut it, jasmine generally is a malli chettu, right? Stem cuttings they will do. They'll cut the stem and they'll keep it in the soil. Again new plant will come. Right. So that is for flower formation in horticulture. It's called layering. One aerial branch gives rise to another plant and that aerial branch gives rise to another plant. It's called layering. It's the most commonly employed method of using stolons in case of horticulture. Here aerial branch you remember called stolon. Here lateral branch of underground stem you call sucker. So both helps in vegetative propagation and remember examples very clearly. I hope you got stolons and suckers. Nothing, one difference. What is that? Aerial branch grows down and gives new plant. Here lateral branch of underground stem grows upward direction and gives new plant. That is a main difference between stolons and suckers. Now let us go with next one. What is that? Offset. Let us continue with that. Right. So here offset. So this is also type of subaerial stem modification. So let us talk about offset here. Now if you see in offset also we find a discoid stem. So you can see this is nothing but discoid stem. So this is discoid stem. Let me give you complete diagram. Little down I will draw because labeling part takes space. So it will be like this, right. So this is nothing but what we find. Even in this case you find discoid stem. So you find a discoid stem here with formation of here you can see rosette arrangement of leaves, rosette arrangement of leaves. Okay, so what you can see in offset is first character is disc-like stem, so you find discoid stem on either side. How discoid stem is present? Here with a 1 internodal length. 1 internodal length. What's the meaning of internode? Ramachandra. So what we are discussing now? Offset. In offset what you find? Discoid stem here. This also discoid stem. Generally what is discoid stem is present for every 1 internodal length. What's the meaning of 1 internodal length? Generally if you take the plant, general plant, if you take this is a node, if you take this is a node from where leaf arises, this is also called node from where leaf arises, but the centermost space is called internode. The space between two nodes is called internode. Okay, the place where leaf arises is called node. This is also the place where leaf arises is called node. The space between two nodes is called internode. Alright, the space between two nodes is called internode. Similarly, this is a node. This is a node and discoid stem is present at each node with 1 internodal length. From the discoid stem, you can see a leaf-like structures. Leaves are formed like rosette-like, means all will come close and looks like a flower, but actually they are leaves. All leaves they develop, they come closely and they appear like a rosette, appears like a rose. The arrangement is called rosette arrangement of leaves. Right, then here you find from the discoid stem you can see formation of a bunch of adventitious roots. You can see formation of a bunch of adventitious roots. So let us continue. From here you can see a bunch of adventitious roots. So here these adventitious roots, they contain what are called root pockets. It contains root pockets. The tip contains, it bulges and stores more water. It's called root pocket and it contains what are called root hairs. These adventitious roots, they develop as a lateral roots, a small lateral roots. These are called as root hairs. Okay, similarly from the other discoid stem you can see other bunch of leaves. They arises and form rosette arrangement, discoid stem from which you can see a bunch of adventitious roots. So this is how it looks. This is what is called offset. This is what is called offset. I repeat again, discoid stem is there. From the discoid stem you can see formation of leaves like a rose. The arrangement is called rosette arrangement of leaves. With 1 internodal length, there is a formation of rosette arrangement of leaves along with the discoid stem, and from the discoid stem you can see a bunch of adventitious roots which are developed along with the tip of the root stores more water. So they are called root pockets, and lateral roots they are present called root hairs. Where they are present? They are present in water. So this is water. They are present in water. So they are present in water. That's why they are partly aerial, partly underground. Half of the stem is aerial, air, half of the stem is in water. This is offset. So if you cut any part, that also helps in vegetative propagation. It helps in vegetative propagation. Now let us take examples, offset examples. Let us take examples here. Pistia. Pistia, it's commonly called water cabbage. Why it is called water cabbage? It comes like a bunch. It comes like a bunch. It looks like a cabbage. So that's why it's called water cabbage and it's called Pistia. Similarly, Hycornia. Hycornia. It's commonly called as water hyacinth. Okay, Pistia, which is commonly called water cabbage. Hycornia, it's commonly called as what? Water hyacinth. So this is nothing but subaerial stem modifications. In subaerial stem modifications, we have 4 categories. What are they? We find first one runners, stolons, suckers, and next one what we find it's called as offset. So I repeat for offset, discoid stem is present with one internodal length with the rosette arrangement of leaves, a bunch of adventitious roots with root pockets filled with water, and lateral roots are called root hairs. If you cut this and keep it in the water, then again new plant will come, means helps in vegetative propagation. What are the examples? You can take Pistia. Pistia is commonly called water cabbage. Hycornia, commonly called as water hyacinth. Now up to this we have taken. Let us talk about table number 2. Table 2. So what generally we write in table 2? The scientific name of the plant and the common name. Okay. So in table number 2 also we will take some plants, a few plants. So in scientific name you can take Pterocarpus. Pterocarpus santallinus. Okay, what is the scientific name I gave? Pronunciation, listen carefully. Pterocarpus santallinus. The common name it is called as red sanders. Okay, red sanders. Red sanders scientific name is Pterocarpus santallinus. Important, the scientific name and this is a common name. Let me give you another plant. So in this case you can write scientific name is Trigonella, Trigonella and Phenygrichum. What is the name of the plant? Trigonella. I repeat, Trigonella phenygrichum or Phenygrichus. It's commonly called fenugreek. It's commonly called fenugreek. So I repeat again, let us take 2 scientific names for 2 common names. What is the scientific name? Pterocarpus santallinus. What is the scientific name of the plant? I repeat again, try to remember pronunciation, how you have to speak. Pterocarpus, P silent here. Pterocarpus santallinus. It's commonly called red sanders. What is the other plant? Trigonella phenygrichum. It's commonly called fenugreek. So here these are the 2 plants you can remember for scientific name and common name. So scientist name and discovery, for the last class we studied for scientist name what? Nephew Grew is for plant tissues. Marcello Malfigi is for animal tissues. Both layered for anatomy, that is scientist name and discovery. Last class, this is table number 2. In table number 2 what are we writing? Scientific name and common name. So let us take 2 scientific names. I repeat again, Pterocarpus santallinus, commonly called red sanders, and similarly Trigonella phenygrichum. Listen carefully, Trigonella phenygrichum. It's commonly called fenugreek.